The 26th of November 2006 was a landmark day in Irish rugby history. Not because the national team demolished the Pacific Islanders, impressive though it was, but because it was the final appearance by Ireland at the legendary Lansdowne Road Stadium. Rugby had been played here since 1876, and the old ground witnessed the many highs and lows the national team suffered in the 244 international matches they played here. Add in Heineken Cup finals and some classic games in the 1991 Rugby World Cup, and it's little wonder it held a special place in the heart of all rugby fans. But the wonderfully atmospheric ground couldn't meet the requirements of modern professional sport. 3 years after demolishing the old stadium, a new one has risen from the ashes.
It's a state-of-the-art stadium, the oldest international ground in the world, 134 years old, with a new stadium. We've preserved and kept the pitch, but we have a new stadium on the pitch, and I think that's super. There's a lot of history here. In fact, it's the oldest international ground in world rugby.
The state-of-the-art new ground, renamed the Aviva Stadium, has already won the fans over, with its unique silver curvature becoming a welcome addition to their city's skyline.
What we've used is polycarbonate sheeting. We started looking at glass. Glass is a lot heavier than polycarbonate and would require a heavier structure and is more brittle, whereas the polycarbonate is a softer material. You can mould it, and so the panels are almost all the same size, and you can place them all the way around the form. So it looks as if it's curved, it looks as if it's a form sitting in the landscape. And it also allows an awful lot of light into the stadium, which you can see here, which is something we don't have a lot of in Ireland.
Design like this doesn't come cheap. But €365 million later, the stadium sits proudly among the affluent suburban streets. Perhaps a little disappointingly, it has a similar capacity to the old venue at 50,000, but does have the advantage of being all-seated. However, the mastermind behind its design was careful to retain some of the old characteristics that made a visit here so unique.
There's always this discussion of home advantage, and most new stadia are bowls. That means there's seating completely all around them, whereas with an open end, with the roof dipping down, with the gusty winds we have here, there's still what a lot of teams were afraid of when coming to Lansdowne Road, which was the swirl.
Leinster and Ulster played each other in both the first and last club matches at the old Lansdowne Road. But they united to field a combined side to take on a Munster Connacht team for the first match at the Aviva. Over 35,000 fans turned up to get a feel of what the new ground had to offer.
Well, I think the old Lansdowne was just a bit old, really. It just needed redone. This new stadium is just spectacular. It's fabulous, and it feels really safe and cosy, and it's a great atmosphere, and everybody seems to be having a good time.
The Munster Connacht selection were destined not to enjoy the experience as much as the fans. The Leinster Ulster side looked far more at home in the new stadium as they took control of the game in the first half, running in 6 tries. This effort was the second score for 19-year-old Craig Gilroy of Ulster and Dungannon. Earlier in the match, he had written his name into the history books as the first ever try scorer at Ireland's redeveloped home.
We've talked about it a lot before the game, amongst us, betting each other who's going to get the first try and stuff, and lucky enough, I managed to get it. Over the moon about.
The second half proved a similar story, and the Leinster-Ulster team eventually romped home 68-0. It was clear to see that despite losing their old spiritual home, the Irish fans have a new theatre of dreams.
The old Lansdowne Road certainly had its charm, but it's fantastic to have such a modern facility there.
It's back to Lansdowne Road. You feel close to the pitch. You still see everything. Miss Croke Park, but that's a great experience. Just to be back so close to the action again, And a wonderful stadium. What can you say? It's fabulous.